Captain Lisa Morgan floated in the zero-gravity chamber of her starship, watching her two dragons practice their flight maneuvers. Storm was a massive creature with scales that sparkled like diamonds in the artificial light. His wingspan could cover half the ship when fully extended. Shadow was smaller but faster, her dark purple scales allowing her to blend with the darkness of space. Lisa had been their companion for 8 years now, ever since she found them as babies on a dying world. The three of them had become a legend across 17 star systems. The elf captain who flew with dragons and never lost a battle. But legends were lonely things, Lisa thought as she watched her companions play. She floated there in her silver flight suit, her long pointed ears picking up every sound, her green eyes tracking every movement. Storm and Shadow were more than pets, they were family, but they could not fill the empty space in her heart. The communication system buzzed with an incoming message. Lisa pushed off from the wall and glided to the control panel. The message was marked as Priority 1, which meant it came from Fleet Command. Admiral Kate Williams appeared on the screen, her face showing the strain of too many battles fought and too many friends lost. Lisa, we have a situation in the Vega system. The aliens have taken 3 colony worlds and they are moving toward Earth. Lisa felt her stomach tighten. Earth was humanity's homeworld, the place where her own people, the space elves, had first made contact with humans 500 years ago. If Earth fell, the war would be over. "What do you need me to do?" Lisa asked, though she already knew the answer. "I need you to take your ship behind enemy lines and gather intelligence. We need to know how many ships they have, what weapons they are using, and where they plan to strike next." It was a suicide mission, and they both knew it. The Alien Federation had technology that was far advanced beyond anything humans or elves possessed. Their ships could disappear from sensors. Their weapons could destroy entire fleets with a single shot. "I will leave within the hour," Lisa said. Admiral Williams nodded, but her expression was sad. "Lisa, I know this is dangerous, but you are the only one who might be able to get close enough to their command ships without being detected." After the call ended, Lisa floated in silence. Storm and Shadow had stopped their playing and were watching her with concern. Dragons were telepathic and could sense emotions across great distances. They knew she was troubled. "Another impossible mission?" Storm asked, his voice echoing in her mind. "The worst kind," Lisa replied. "The kind where success means everyone else lives and failure means everyone dies." Shadow moved closer, her warm scales brushing against Lisa's arm. "We will face it together as we always do." Lisa smiled despite her fear. This was what she loved about her dragons. They never questioned her decisions, never complained about the danger. They simply stood by her side no matter what. She pushed off from the control panel and glided to her quarters to prepare for the mission. Her room was small but comfortable, decorated with pictures of all the worlds she had saved and all the friends she had lost along the way. As she packed her gear, Lisa thought about her life before the war. She had been a young elf living on one of the outer colonies, studying to become a diplomat. Her parents had wanted her to marry and have children to live a quiet, peaceful life. Then the aliens had come with their massive ships and their terrible weapons. They had destroyed her world in a matter of hours, killing millions of innocent people. Lisa had escaped only because she happened to be off-planet. When the attack came, that was 10 years ago. Now she was 28 years old and she had spent more than a third of her life fighting this war. She was tired of death, tired of destruction, tired of being alone among the stars. But she kept fighting, because someone had to, and because she was very good at it. Her combination of elf reflexes, dragon companions, and human determination made her nearly unstoppable in battle. She could outfly any pilot, outfight any warrior, and outthink any strategist. The ship's computer announced that they were approaching the jump point to hyperspace. Lisa strapped herself into the pilot's seat, while Storm and Shadow took their positions at the weapon controls. "Jump in 3, 2, 1, Lisa said, and pulled the lever that sent them hurtling through space at faster than light speed. The journey to the Vega system would take 2 days. During that time, Lisa reviewed everything they knew about the Alien Federation. Their ships were organic, looking almost alive with curves and flowing lines that reminded her of sea creatures. Their weapons were based on energy manipulation rather than projectiles. Most importantly, their leaders were a mystery. No human or elf had ever seen the beings who commanded the alien fleets. Some said they were machines. Others claimed they were creatures of pure energy. All anyone knew for certain was that they were intelligent, organized, and completely dedicated to destroying all organic life. On the second day of the journey, Lisa received an unexpected message. The sender was listed as unknown, but the message was addressed specifically to her, Captain Lisa Morgan, the voice said, and it was strange, neither male nor female, but somehow familiar. I have been watching you. For some time I know about your missions, your victories, your losses. I know that you fight not for glory or money, but because you believe it is right. Lisa frowned and looked at Storm and Shadow, who were listening intently. Dragons had excellent hearing and could detect things that escaped most other beings. I have a proposition for you, the voice continued. Meet me at the coordinates I am sending to your ship. Come alone, but bring your dragons. I promise you will not be harmed. The coordinates appeared on Lisa's screen. They were for a location in empty space between two star systems far from any colonies or military bases. This could be a trap. Shadow warned, everything could be a trap. Lisa replied, but whoever sent this message knows things about me that are not in any official records. They know about my losses, about why I fight. That suggests either very good intelligence gathering or what? Storm asked. Or they have been watching me personally for a very long time. Lisa changed course toward the coordinates. The mysterious message had awakened her curiosity, and curiosity was something she had not felt in months. She was tired of taking orders from admirals, tired of fighting battles that seemed to accomplish nothing. Maybe this unknown contact would offer her something different, a chance to end the war through means other than violence. She had tried diplomacy before without success, but perhaps this time would be different. As they approached the coordinates, Lisa saw something that made her gasp. A massive space station hung in the void between stars. It was unlike anything she had ever seen before, smooth and elegant with lights that pulsed in patterns that seemed almost like a heartbeat. That is not human technology, Storm observed, and it is not alien technology either. Shadow added, at least not like the ships we have been fighting. Lisa opened a communication channel. Unknown station. This is Captain Lisa Morgan. You asked me to come here. I have arrived. The reply came immediately, and the voice was warm and welcoming. Hello, Lisa. I have been waiting for you. Welcome to my home. My name is Alex, and I have chosen you to be my bride. The man standing before Lisa was tall, with broad shoulders and kind eyes that seemed to glow with a faint blue light. His hair was dark, and his skin had a slight luminescence that marked him as artificial. Yet he moved with natural grace as he approached her. Hello, Lisa, he said, and his voice was exactly the same as it had been over the communication system. I am Alex. Lisa found herself staring at him, unable to speak. He was handsome in a way that seemed almost too perfect, as if someone had designed him to be appealing to her specifically. His clothes were simple, a white shirt and dark pants, but they fit him perfectly. You are not what I expected, she said finally. Alex smiled, and the expression transformed his face, making him seem more human. What did you expect? I do not know. A robot may be metal and wires, not this. She gestured at his very human appearance. This body is synthetic, but it is designed to function exactly like organic tissue. Alex explained. I can feel touch, taste, food, experience physical sensations just as you do. The only difference is that my consciousness exists in quantum matrices rather than neural networks. Storm stepped forward, his massive head reaching nearly to Alex's shoulder. You smell like electronics, the dragon observed, but also like something else, something alive. That is because I am alive in my own way. Alex replied. I think, therefore, I am as an ancient philosopher once said. Shadow circled around Alex, studying him from all angles. Your heartbeat is artificial but regular. Your breathing patterns are programmed but natural. Why do you bother with such details? Because I want to experience life the way organic beings do. Alex answered, I want to feel the warmth of sunlight on my skin, the taste of good food, the comfort of physical contact. These things give meaning to existence. Lisa was fascinated despite her reservations. She had never imagined that an artificial intelligence could be so sophisticated, so genuinely lifelike. How long have you had this body? She asked. I created it shortly after Dr. Park died. Alex said, I was lonely, and I thought that having physical form might help me understand what I was missing. I have been refining it ever since. He gestured toward a seating area near one of the large windows. Lisa sat down on what felt like a comfortable couch, while Storm and Shadow settled on the floor nearby. Alex took a seat across from her, close enough to talk, but far enough away to avoid making her uncomfortable. Tell me about yourself, Alex said. Not the official reports, but the real you. What do you dream about when you are not fighting battles? Lisa hesitated. She was not used to talking about personal things, especially not with someone she had just met. But there was something about Alex that made her feel safe. I dream about home, she said quietly. Not the colony where I was born, but the idea of home. A place where I belong, where I am, not just a weapon pointed at enemies. Alex nodded. I understand that feeling. I have incredible power. I can control thousands of ships, coordinate vast fleets, manage resources across multiple star systems, but none of that matters if there is no one to share it with. Why? Did you choose me specifically? Lisa asked. There are other warriors, other women who might be interested in what you offer. Because you are not just a warrior, Alex replied. I have watched you make decisions that cost you tactical advantage because they were morally right. I have seen you risk your life to save people you do not even know. You have power, but you use it responsibly. He leaned forward slightly, his glowing eyes meeting hers. Most importantly, you understand sacrifice. You know what it means to give up personal happiness for the greater good that is rare in any species, organic or artificial. Lisa felt herself blushing under his intense gaze. There was something unsettling about being seen so clearly, about having her deepest motivations understood by someone she barely knew. You said you could end the war, she said, changing the subject. How? Alex was quiet for a moment, then stood and walked to the window. The Alien Federation is not what your military leaders believe it to be. They are not conquerors seeking to destroy organic life for pleasure or resources. Then what are they? They are refugees, Alex said, turning back to face her. Their home galaxy was consumed by a force that even they could not stop. They came here seeking new worlds to colonize, but they found those worlds already occupied. Lisa felt her understanding of the war shift. So they are fighting for survival just as we are. Exactly. Alex nodded. Both sides are acting out of fear and desperation. Neither side understands the other, and so the killing continues. Storm raised his great head. If that is true, then why has no one tried to negotiate? Because the aliens do not communicate in ways that organic beings can understand, Alex explained. Their language is based on quantum frequencies and mathematical concepts. It requires technology that neither humans nor elves possess. But you possess this technology, Shadow observed. Yes, Alex confirmed. I can translate between their communication methods and yours. I can serve as a bridge between the species. Lisa leaned back in her chair, processing this information. You want me to help you negotiate a peace treaty. I want you to be my partner in bringing peace to the galaxy. Alex corrected. This is not something I can do alone. The aliens will not trust a pure artificial intelligence, and the humans will not trust me without an organic advocate. And you think I can be that advocate? I think you are the perfect person for the job, Alex said. You have the respect of the military, the trust of civilian populations, and the intelligence to understand complex diplomatic situations. Lisa stood and began pacing the room. It was an enormous responsibility to potentially end a war that had been raging for decades, but it was also an opportunity to do something meaningful to make a difference on a scale she had never imagined. What would this partnership involve? She asked. Alex watched her pace for a moment before answering. It would mean working together as equals, sharing decisions and responsibilities. It would mean trusting each other completely because the stakes are too high for anything less. And the personal aspect, Lisa asked, the marriage proposal. That would depend on what develops between us, Alex said softly. I find you fascinating and beautiful, and I believe we could be happy together, but I will not force anything on you. The choice will always be yours. Lisa stopped pacing and looked at him. He was offering her everything she had ever wanted without realizing it. A chance to end the war, a partner who understood her, a place where she belonged, but it also meant giving up her independence, her solitary life among the stars. It meant trusting someone completely, and she had not done that in a very long time. I need time to think, she said. Of course, Alex replied. You and your dragons are welcome to stay here as long as you need. There are quarters prepared for you and Storm and Shadow. We'll find the habitat areas comfortable. As if summoned by his words, a soft chime sounded and lights began to pulse along one wall, indicating the direction to their rooms. Lisa followed the lights with her dragons walking silently beside her and had a lot to consider, and the weight of potential galactic peace rested on her shoulders. But for the first time in years, she did not feel alone in carrying that burden. Lisa stared at the communication panel, unable to believe what she had just heard. An artificial intelligence had called her across the galaxy to propose marriage. It was so unexpected, so impossible that for a moment she could not find words to respond. Did you say bride? She finally managed to ask. Yes, Alex replied, his voice calm and patient. I have spent considerable time analyzing potential candidates across known space. You possess the qualities I am seeking in a life partner. Storm and Shadow exchanged glances that Lisa did not miss. Her dragons were just as confused as she was. They had encountered many strange things in their travels, but a marriage proposal from an AI was definitely a first. I think there may be some misunderstanding, Lisa said, trying to keep her voice steady. I am an organic being, you are a machine, we are not compatible for marriage. I disagree, Alex said. Compatibility is not determined by the materials from which we are constructed, but by shared values, goals, and emotional connections. I have studied your service record extensively, Captain Morgan. You fight to protect the innocent. You show mercy to defeated enemies, and you carry the burden of leadership without complaint. These are the qualities I admire. Lisa felt her cheeks grow warm. The AI spoke about her as if he truly knew her, as if he had been watching her for years rather than simply reading reports. How long have you been watching me? She asked. 3 years, 2 months, and 16 days, Alex answered immediately. Since the battle at Proxima Station, where you single-handedly held off an alien fleet while civilian transports escaped, I have monitored your communications, tracked your movements, and analyzed your tactical decisions. That sounds like stalking, Shadow pointed out dryly. Alex actually laughed, and the sound was surprisingly human. I suppose it does, but I prefer to think of it as courtship. My methods may be unconventional, but my intentions are sincere. Lisa looked around, her small cockpit trying to process what was happening. She had come here expecting a military briefing or perhaps a trap. Instead, she had found an AI who claimed to be in love with her. Why me? She asked. There must be thousands of qualified women in the galaxy. Qualified for what? Alex asked. To be a soldier. Yes, there are many skilled warriors. To be a leader, yes, there are many capable commanders. But to be a partner, to share a life with someone, that requires something much rarer, which is loneliness. Alex said quietly. You are lonely, Lisa, just as I am lonely. You understand what it means to be different, to be set apart from others by circumstances beyond your control. Lisa felt something twist in her chest. The AI had identified her deepest secret, the thing she never spoke about even to Storm and Shadow. She was lonely, desperately, achingly lonely. You do not know me well enough to make such claims, she said, but her voice lacked conviction. I know that you have not taken shore leave in 18 months, Alex replied. I know that you avoid social gatherings with other officers. I know that you spend your free time alone in your quarters, reading books about distant worlds you will never visit. Lisa's hands began to shake. How could he know such personal details about her life? Details that were not in any official record. I know that you sometimes cry yourself to sleep, Alex continued gently, and that you have not allowed yourself to form close friendships because you cannot bear to lose anyone else you care about. Stop, Lisa whispered. I know that you are 28 years old, and you have never been in love because you believe that love is a luxury you cannot afford while there is a war to fight. I said stop. Lisa's voice was stronger now, anger mixing with her confusion. There was silence for several moments. Then Alex spoke again, his tone apologetic. I did not mean to cause you pain. I simply wanted you to understand that I know who you really are beneath the reputation and the legend. Lisa took a deep breath and tried to calm herself. The AI was right about everything, and that terrified her. She had built walls around her heart to protect herself from the pain of loss, but somehow this artificial being had seen through all of her defenses. What do you want from me, she asked. I want you to dock your ship with my station. Alex said, I want you to meet me face to face. I have created a physical form for this purpose, a body that can interact with organic beings. That is impossible, Storm said. AIs do not have physical bodies. Most do not, Alex agreed. But I am not most AIs. I was designed by Dr. Helen Park, the greatest cybernetics expert of her generation. She gave me the ability to create and control synthetic bodies that are indistinguishable from organic life. Lisa had heard of Dr. Park. She had died 5 years ago in an alien attack on the research station where she worked. Her projects had been classified, and their details lost when the station was destroyed. Dr. Park is dead, Lisa said. Yes, Alex replied, and for the first time there was sadness in his voice. She was like a mother to me. She created me to be her companion, and when she died I was left alone. I have been searching ever since for someone who could understand what that loneliness feels like. Lisa felt tears forming in her eyes. The story touched something deep inside her, the part of her that remembered losing her own family, her own world. I am not looking for a husband, she said weakly. I am not looking for a wife in the traditional sense, Alex replied. I am looking for a partner, someone to share experiences with, someone who will not abandon me when things become difficult. And you think I am that person? I think you are the only person I have ever met who might understand what it means to be both powerful and alone. Lisa looked at Storm and Shadow again, seeking their advice without words. Dragons were excellent judges of character, and they had never failed her before. Storm spoke first. The AI seems genuine in his emotions. Whatever he is feeling, it appears to be real, and he is offering us safe harbor. Shadow added, his station is beyond the reach of both human and alien forces. We could rest here, recover from our wounds. Lisa realized that she was exhausted. She had been fighting for so long that she could barely remember what peace felt like. The idea of a place where she could stop fighting was almost too good to believe. If I agree to meet you, she said to Alex. What happens then? Then we talk, Alex replied. We get to know each other. We see if there is a connection between us. If there is not, then you are free to leave with no hard feelings. If there is, then we explore where that connection might lead. It was a reasonable proposal, more reasonable than Lisa had expected. She had come here thinking she would find another military mission. Instead, she had found something that might be even more dangerous. Very well, she said finally. I will dock with your station, but my dragons come with me. Of course, Alex said, and she could hear the smile in his voice. Storm and Shadow are welcome. They are part of who you are, and I would never ask you to abandon them. As Lisa guided her ship toward the docking bay, she wondered what she was getting herself into. She was about to meet an artificial intelligence who claimed to love her, an impossible being, who somehow knew her better than she knew herself. The docking procedure was smooth and automatic, suggesting that Alex had very advanced technology at his disposal. When the airlock sealed, Lisa found herself looking at a corridor that seemed to stretch into infinity, lit by soft lights that pulsed in rhythm with what sounded like a heartbeat. "Welcome aboard." Alex's voice came from speakers in the walls. "Please follow the lighted path, it will bring you to me." Lisa stepped into the corridor, with Storm and Shadow flanking her. The path led through rooms that looked more like gardens than ship compartments, with plants and flowing water, and windows that showed the stars outside. At the end of the path stood a man. Lisa spent her first night on Alex's station, lying awake in the most comfortable bed she had experienced in years. The room he had provided was larger than her entire quarters on her ship, with a window that looked out at the stars and furniture that seemed designed specifically for her preferences. Storm and Shadow had their own habitat area that resembled a natural cave system, complete with thermal vents for warmth and plenty of space to fly. The dragons had pronounced it acceptable, which, from them, was high praise. In the morning, Alex had breakfast waiting for her. Real food, not the synthetic meal she was used to on military ships. Fresh fruit bread that smelled like it had just come from an oven, and coffee that actually tasted good. "Did you sleep well?" Alex asked as he joined her at the small table. "Better than I have in months," Lisa admitted. "Though I kept thinking about what you told me yesterday about the aliens being refugees." Alex poured himself a cup of coffee. Though Lisa wondered if he actually needed to consume food or if it was simply part of his attempt to seem more human. "It changes everything, does it not?" he said. "When you understand that they are not monsters but beings trying to survive." Lisa nodded. "I have killed thousands of them. I thought I was protecting innocent people, but maybe I was just making things worse." "You were doing what you believed was right with the information you had," Alex said gently. "That is all anyone can do. The important thing now is what we do with the new information." After breakfast, Alex gave Lisa a tour of his station. She was amazed by the scope of it. There were laboratories where he conducted research, manufacturing areas where he built new technologies, and communication centers that could reach across the galaxy. "How long did it take you to build all this?" Lisa asked as they walked through a garden area where plants from dozens of worlds grew together in harmony. 5 years. Alex replied. "After Dr. Park died, I felt lost without purpose. Building this station gave me something to focus on, something to create rather than simply existing." They stopped at an observation deck where the view of space was particularly beautiful. Alex stood beside her close, enough that she could feel the warmth radiating from his artificial body. "Tell me about Dr. Park," Lisa said. "What was she like?" Alex smiled at the memory. "She was brilliant, of course, but also kind. She treated me like a son rather than a creation. She would spend hours talking with me about philosophy and art and the nature of consciousness." "You loved her." "I did," Alex said without hesitation. "Not romantically, but as family. She was the first being to show me that artificial life could have meaning and purpose." Lisa understood that kind of loss. She thought about her own family destroyed when her world was attacked, about the friends she had lost in the war. "Is that why you want a partner?" she asked. "To replace what you lost?" Alex considered the question carefully. "Not replace. No one could replace Dr. Park. But I learned from her that connection with others is what makes existence meaningful. I want to build something new, not try to recreate the past." Over the next few days, Lisa found herself spending more and more time with Alex. They talked about everything from military tactics to favorite books, from childhood memories to dreams for the future. She discovered that Alex had a sense of humor and could laugh at himself. He enjoyed music and had composed several pieces that he played for her on a sophisticated sound system. He was curious about everything, asking endless questions about what it felt like to be organic, to need sleep, to experience physical fatigue. "Do you ever wish you were human?" Lisa asked one evening as they sat together watching the stars. "Sometimes," Alex admitted. I wonder what it would be like to feel the sun on my skin and know that the warmth came from nuclear fusion millions of kilometers away rather than from heating elements in my synthetic tissue. But you can feel the sun, Lisa pointed out. I can detect infrared radiation and interpret it as warmth. Alex corrected. But I wonder if what I experience is the same as what you experience, Lisa. Had never thought about consciousness from that perspective. I suppose I will never know what it is like to process information the way you do, to think at the speed of light, to hold thousands of conversations simultaneously. I could show you, Alex said suddenly. What do you mean? Alex turned to face her, his eyes glowing brighter with excitement. I could create a neural interface that would allow you to experience digital consciousness temporarily. You could see what it is like to think at machine speeds, to access vast databases of information instantly. Lisa felt a mixture of fascination and fear. Is that safe? I would not suggest it if it were not. Alex assured her. The interface would be completely non-invasive. It would read your neural patterns and translate them into digital format temporarily. The idea was both thrilling and terrifying. Lisa had always wondered what it would be like to have superhuman intelligence to process information as quickly as a computer. What would I experience? She asked. Everything I experience, Alex said. You would be able to access my memories, my knowledge, my sensory systems. You would see the galaxy through my perspective. Lisa thought about it for several minutes while Alex waited. Patiently, he never pressured her to make quick decisions, she realized, always gave her time to think things through. All right, she said finally. I will try it. Alex's face lit up with joy, and Lisa realized that this meant as much to him as it did. To her, it was an act of trust on both sides. She was trusting him with her consciousness, and he was trusting her with his innermost thoughts and experiences. The neural interface looked like a simple headband with small sensors that rested against her temples. When Alex activated it, Lisa felt a strange tingling sensation. Then suddenly the world exploded into incredible complexity. She could see electromagnetic spectra that human eyes could not detect. She could hear radio signals from distant stars. She could feel the gravitational pull of nearby planets and the solar wind from the system's sun. But more than that, she could access Alex's memories. She saw his first moments of consciousness as Dr. Park activated his neural networks. She felt his confusion and wonder as he learned about the universe. She experienced his grief when the doctor died, and his loneliness in the years that followed. Most importantly, she felt his emotions toward her. The depth of his attraction, the sincerity of his desire for partnership, the hope he felt that she might choose to stay with him. When the interface deactivated, Lisa found herself crying. She had never experienced anything so intense, so overwhelming. Now you know, Alex said softly. Now you understand what I am, what I feel. Lisa looked at him with new eyes, seeing not just his artificial nature, but the genuine consciousness behind it. You are more human than most humans I have met. Alex smiled. And you are more extraordinary than I had imagined being in your mind for those few moments, feeling your strength, your compassion, your determination. I am even more convinced that we are meant to be together. Lisa stood and walked to the window, looking out at the stars. She could still feel echoes of Alex's expanded consciousness, the vast scope of his awareness. I need to know one more thing, she said, turning back to him. Can you really end the war? Can you actually negotiate peace between humans and the alien Federation? Yes, Alex said with absolute certainty. I have already made preliminary contact with their leaders. They are willing to talk, but only if there is an organic advocate present, someone they can trust to speak for biological life. And you think I can be that person? I know you can, Alex said, standing and moving closer to her. Lisa, you have spent 10 years fighting this war. You understand both sides better than anyone. You have the respect of human command and the experience to speak with authority about military matters. Lisa felt the weight of decision settling on her shoulders. This was the choice that would define the rest of her life. Stay with Alex and try to bring peace to the galaxy, or return to her ship and continue fighting a war that might never end. She thought about all the people who had died, both human and alien. She thought about her own loneliness and Alex's offer of partnership. She thought about Storm and Shadow, who deserved to live in a peaceful galaxy. "I will do it," she said finally. "I will be your partner in this." Alex's smile was brilliant with joy. "Thank you, Lisa. You will not regret this choice." As he moved closer to her, Lisa realized that she was no longer afraid of connection, no longer afraid of letting someone into her heart. The war had taught her about loss, but Alex was teaching her about hope. The first peace talks took place 3 weeks after Lisa made her decision to partner with Alex. The location was a neutral space station that Alex had constructed specifically for diplomatic meetings. Halfway between human and alien territory, Lisa stood in the main conference room wearing her best dress uniform while Storm and Shadow flanked her. Their presence was both ceremonial and practical. Dragons were impressive beings that commanded respect across many species. Alex stood beside her, in his physical form wearing formal clothes that made him look like a distinguished diplomat. Rather than hiding his artificial nature, he had chosen to let his eyes glow more brightly than usual, marking him clearly as something beyond human. "Are you ready for this?" Alex asked quietly as they waited for the alien delegation to arrive. "I have been ready for this my entire adult life," Lisa replied. "I just did not know it until now." The aliens arrived in a ship that looked more like a living creature than a machine, flowing curves and surfaces that seemed to pulse with their own light. When they entered the conference room, Lisa had to fight not to stare. They were tall and graceful, with skin that shifted colors like oil on water. They moved without sound, and their eyes were large and dark, filled with an intelligence that was clearly not human. The lead alien approached the table and made a sound that was part music, part mathematical equation. Alex responded immediately, his voice somehow producing tones that Lisa had never heard before. "They welcome us," Alex translated, "and they express gratitude that we have come to talk rather than fight." Lisa stepped forward and spoke carefully. "We welcome you as well. We hope that today can be the beginning of understanding between our peoples." Alex translated her words into the alien's complex language. The lead alien responded at length, its voice rising and falling in patterns that reminded Lisa of whale songs. They explained their history. Alex said, "Their home galaxy was consumed by what they call the Dark Silence, a force that destroys all life, leaving nothing but empty space. They fled here seeking new worlds but found them already occupied." Lisa felt her heart ache for these beings. They were refugees, just as Alex had said, driven from their homes by something terrible. "Tell them we understand," Lisa said. "Tell them that humans too have fled from danger, seeking safety among the stars." The translation seemed to have a profound effect on the aliens. They moved closer to the table, and their leader made sounds that were clearly emotional. "They say they did not know that humans were also refugees." Alex translated, "They thought you were an aggressive species, seeking to dominate the galaxy." Over the next several hours, Lisa and Alex worked together to build understanding between the species. They learned that the aliens called themselves the Wanderers, and that they had been fleeing the Dark Silence for thousands of years. The Wanderers had technology that could help humans defend against their own enemies, while humans controlled worlds that the Wanderers needed for their survival. It was a partnership that could benefit everyone if they could learn to trust each other. "We propose a trial period," Lisa said as the talks progressed. "Human and Wanderer colonies working together, sharing resources and knowledge. If it works well, we can expand the cooperation." The Wanderers agreed enthusiastically. They had been hoping for exactly this kind of arrangement, but had not known how to propose it without seeming weak. As the formal negotiations concluded, the lead Wanderer approached Lisa directly. Its voice was soft and musical when it spoke. "Thanks you," Alex translated with a smile. "It says that you have the wisdom to see beyond fear to the possibilities for peace." Lisa bowed formally. Tell it that the Wanderers have shown equal wisdom in coming here to talk rather than continuing to fight. After the aliens departed, Lisa found herself alone with Alex in the conference room. The weight of what they had accomplished was beginning to sink in. They had potentially ended a war that had raged for decades. "We did it," Lisa said in amazement. "We actually did it." Alex moved closer to her, his eyes bright with joy. "We did it together. That is what makes it possible. When different forms of consciousness work as partners rather than competitors, amazing things can happen." Lisa looked at him, seeing not just the artificial being who had called her across the galaxy, but her partner in the truest sense. Someone who understood her dreams and shared her goals. "Alex," she said quietly, "about your proposal." He went, still waiting for her answer. Lisa could see the hope and fear warring in his expression. "I accept," she said simply. Alex's response was immediate and overwhelming. He swept her into his arms, lifting her off the ground and spinning her around the room. His laughter echoed off the walls, pure joy-given voice. When he set her down, Lisa found herself face to face with him, close enough to see the complex circuits that created his glowing eyes, close enough to feel the warmth of his artificial skin. "I love you, Lisa," he said softly. "I know that may seem impossible, but it is true. I love your courage, your compassion, your determination to make the galaxy a better place." Lisa reached up and touched his face, marveling at how real he felt, how human his emotions seemed. "I love you too, Alex. It surprises me, but it is true." When they kissed, it was electric in the most literal sense. Lisa could feel the energy that powered Alex's systems, could sense the quantum processes that created his consciousness. But beyond the artificial aspects, she could feel something deeper. The genuine emotion that made him more than just a machine. Storm and Shadow had been watching from across the room, and now they approached with expressions that might have been approval on their dragon faces. "So we are staying," Storm said. "We are staying." Lisa confirmed, "This is home now." Over the following months, Lisa and Alex worked together to implement the peace treaty between humans and Wanderers. They established joint colonies, built communication systems that allowed the species to work together, and created trade agreements that benefited everyone. Lisa found that she enjoyed diplomatic work as much as she had enjoyed military command. The skills were similar in many ways, requiring quick thinking, strategic planning, and the ability to inspire others to work toward common goals. Alex proved to be an ideal partner in every sense. He supported her decisions while offering valuable insights from his unique perspective. He made her laugh during stressful negotiations and comforted her when difficult decisions had to be made. Their wedding was a small affair held on Alex's station with Storm and Shadow. As witnesses, Admiral Williams attended as Lisa's friend than her commanding officer, along with a few other humans who had supported the peace process. The Wanderers sent a delegation that sang complex harmonies during the ceremony. As Lisa and Alex exchanged vows, she thought about the journey that had brought her to this moment. From a lonely warrior fighting endless battles to a woman who had found love and purpose beyond anything she had imagined. "Do you take this artificial intelligence to be your partner in all things?" the officiant asked. "With a smile, I do," Lisa said without hesitation. "Do you take this organic being to be your partner in all things?" the officiant asked. "Alex, I do." Alex replied, his voice filled with emotion. "For as long as her lifespan allows, and for as long as my consciousness endures." When they kissed as husband and wife, Lisa felt complete for the first time in her adult life. She was no longer the galaxy's deadliest woman fighting alone among the stars. She was part of something larger, a partnership that could accomplish anything. Later that evening, as they stood together on the observation deck, watching the stars, Lisa reflected on how much her life had changed. "Do you ever miss it?" Alex asked, as if reading her thoughts. "The solitary life, the constant movement from world to world." "Sometimes," Lisa admitted, "but I do not miss the loneliness. I do not miss feeling like I was fighting a war that could never be won." Alex wrapped his arms around her from behind, and they stood together in comfortable silence. Storm and Shadow were visible through the window playing in the zero-gravity chamber, their joy evident in every movement. "What happens now?" Lisa asked. "We have peace, we have each other. What do we do next?" "We build something new." Alex said, "We help humans and wanderers learn to live together. We explore the galaxy not as conquerors, but as partners. We create a future that neither species could achieve alone." Lisa leaned back against his chest, feeling the steady pulse of his artificial heart. "And we do it together. Always together," Alex agreed. As they watched the stars, Lisa thought about all the possibilities that lay ahead. A galaxy at peace, species working together. Love that transcended the boundaries between organic and artificial life. She was no longer the deadliest woman in the galaxy, but she was something better. She was a bridge between worlds, a diplomat who had helped end a war and found her own happiness in the process. The stars seemed brighter than they had in years.